Hello everyone, welcome to Gate Academy. I hope I am audible and visible. Please let me know in the comment section. A very good evening to all of you. Please let me know in the comment section that I am audible and visible. A very good evening to all of you. And please do share the link so that more students can join this session. Not voice is coming, ma'am. Okay, in the previous lecture, we studied about the basics of percentage and we learned how do we convert percentage into fraction and fraction into percentage. Now in this session, okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the confirmation. Now in this session, first we are going to learn some very basic concept of using by and to in the questions. If we are using by, that means we are talking about the difference, and if we are using to, that means we are talking about the final value. For this we have examples. The income is reduced by 40%. That means if I am having 100 rupees and this amount is reduced by 40%, so the rest amount I am having is just only 60 rupees. But if I am having 100 rupees and this 100 rupees is reduced to 40, that means the rupees I am having, that is only 40 rupees. So this is the basic difference. So this is the basic difference between the uses of by and to in the questions. Now we are going to solve some of the questions, and we will start with the very first question of today's session, and that is, age of Ravi is 20 years. If the Sham's age is 25% greater than that of Ravi, then how much percent Ravi's age is less than Sham's age? Okay, try to solve this question and after that we will discuss it. Here we have two persons. The first one is Ravi and the second one is Sham. And it is given that the age of Ravi is 20 years old. So how much percent Ravi's age is less than Sham's age? 80%. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. If I increase this 20 years by 25%, that means I can write it as by 1 by 4, right? If the value of 4 is 20, then the value of 5 is 25 years. That means the age of Sham is 25 years. Now what we have to do, we how much percent Ravi's age is less than the Sham is. Here we have to compare with the Sham's age. The difference between in these two is 5 years. 5 years from 25 years into 100, and we will get our answer as 20%. We will get our answer as 20%. This is our method number 1. Method 1. Now whenever we have such type of fraction, it is given that the Sham age is 25% greater than that of Ravi. That means I can write 25% as 1 by 4. This is our numerator and this is our denominator. Now what I have to calculate? I have to calculate how much percent Ravi age is less than of Sham. Less than, that means we have to calculate the decrease one value. Decrease one value. So how do we calculate it directly? I calculate it by the formula, that is numerator, denominator my plus numerator. Numerator divided by denominator plus numerator. Just simply put the values and we will get our answer. Just simply put the values and I'll get my answer. The value of numerator is nothing but 1. The value of denominator is 4 and the value of numerator is 1. So there is a change of 1 by 5. 1 by 5, that means 20% change. There is a change of what? There is a change of 20%. This is our method number 1 and this is our method number 2. So whenever we have, there is a decrease. Whenever we have decrease in some percentage, we use this formula. But if we are having increase in some in pattern, then we will use n d minus n. For increase, we will use n upon d minus n, and for the decrease, we use n divided by d plus n. Clear? Now let's move to the next question, which is quite similar to this type, and try to use either of the method so that you can calculate your answer. Okay, this is our question number 2. What is the correct answer of this question? Height of Amitabh is 50% greater than the height of Amir Khan. Height of Amir Khan is how much percent less than that of Amitabh? Very good, Abhishek. Yes, that's correct. We have two persons. The first one is Amitabh and the second one is Amir. If I take Amir as 100 and there's a 50% greater height of Amitabh, that means Amitabh have 150. There's a difference of 50 over 150 into 100. That means there's a 33.33, or we can say 33, 1 by 3% less than that of Amitabh Bachchan. Okay? Okay, this is our method number 1. For method number 2, it is given that Amitabh is 50% greater. That means 50%, we can write 50% as 1 by 2. So this is our numerator and this is our denominator. So how much percent less than me? That means we are talking about the decrement. If we are talking about the decrement or decrease in the height, that means we have to use n upon d plus n. That means 1, 2 plus 1, that means there is a decrease of 1 by 3, that means 33, 1 by 3%. That means 33, 1 by 3, or you can also write it as 33.33%. You can also write it as 33.33%. Clear? Now let's move to the next question. Rahul has 33.33% more marks than Garvit has. By how much percent less marks Garvit has than that of Gautam? Okay, not Gautam, Rahul. Again, we have to calculate the less marks, or we can say the less percentage. 25%, very good, Abhishek. Let's see. Here we have our method number 1. 33.33%, that means I can write it as 1 by 3, right? Here we have Rahul, and here I am having Gavit. Rahul has 33.33%, that means 4, 3. There is a change of 1 over 4 into 100, that means 25%. 25% less marks than Gavit. ठीक है? Method number 2. I can write 33.33% as 1 by 3. That means this is my numerator and this is my denominator, and I have to calculate the less one or the decrease one. So I can use this formula n d plus n, that is 1, 3 plus 1, 1 by 4, that means 25%. That means 25%. Is it clear? Is it clear? Can we move further? Okay. Here we have next question, question number 4. Due to some irregular working habits of Raju, his salary was reduced by 20%. But after some months, his salary was increased to the original salary. What is the percentage increase in the salary of Raju? Here we have to find out the percentage increase. Here we have to find out the percentage increase in the salary of Raju. %25. Let's see. I can write 20% as 1 by 5, right? If I can say the old salary was 5 and the new salary was 4, but again we have to move towards 5, then there's a difference of 1 in between them, and what we have to do, we have to compare it with this one. So the correct answer over here is 25%. This is our method number 1. In next method, we can write again 20% as 1 by 5. Now here we are talking about the percentage increase, or we can say the more percentage. So we can use a formula n upon d minus n. This is our n, this is d. Just simply put the values 1 upon 5 minus 1. That means 1 by 4, and 1 by 4 shows us 25%. 1 by 4 shows us 25%. So the correct answer of this question is 25%. Is it clear? So the correct answer of question number 4 is 25%. Right? Now let's move to the next question. Question number 5. Shalini usually wears sari, which is 16.66% less than that the actual length of the original length sari. By how much percent the actual length of the sari is greater than the length of sari which Shalini usually wears? How do we answer this question? %20, let's see. 16.66%, that means I can write it as 16 2 by 3%, and for this I can use 1 by 6. If my old value is 6 and the new value is 5, because there's a decrement in the length which Shalini wears the sari, there's a difference of 1 over There's a difference of 1 over 5 and we have to multiply it by 100 just to calculate the percentage, and we get our answer as 20%. As 20%. If I use the second method, that is method number 2, here we have 26, 1 by 6 as our fraction. That means this is our numerator and this is our denominator. And what we have to calculate, how much percent the actual length of the sari is greater than the length of sari which Shalini usually wears. That means we have to use the decrement one, increment one. So we use n, d minus n, and then simply put the values. 6 minus 1, 1 by 5, and 1 by 5 is nothing but 20%. And 1 by 5 is nothing but that is equal to 20% in the percentage. Is it clear? Right? Now let's move to the next question. Initially, Suman has 200 rupees in her wallet. Then she increased it by 20%. Once again, she increased her amount by 25%. The final value of money in her wallet will be how much percent greater than that the initial amount? Initially, Suman having 200 rupees in her wallet, she increased this amount by 20%, and she further increased this amount by 25%. So what is the total percentage change from the initial and the final value? From the final and the initial value. What is the percentage change? 50%. Okay, let's see. If I increase the 20% in this amount, what is the amount of 20%? That is 40 rupees. That means currently I am having 240 rupees. Now again there is an increase of what? There is an increase of 25%. That means there is an increase of what? 25. I can write 25 as 1 by 5, and there is an increase of 60 rupees. That means finally I am having 300 rupees, and there is a difference of 100 rupees. And there's a difference of what? There's a difference of 100 rupees. Now how do I calculate the final percentage change? How do I calculate the final percentage change? Final value minus initial value divided by initial value into 100, and I'll get my answer as 50%. And I'll get my answer as 50%. Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay. Now let's move to the next question, question number 7th. The age of B is 50% greater than the age of A. The age of C is 20% less than the age of B. By how much percentage the age of C is greater than the age of A? We have three persons. This is A, this is B, and this is C. And what we have to calculate? We have to calculate how much percentage the age of C is greater than the age of A. How much percent the age of C is greater than the age of A? %20. Let's see. The age of B is 50% greater than the age of A. If the age of A is 100, then the age of B is 150. There is an increase of what? There is an increase of 50% over here. Right? Now the age of C is 20% less than the age of B. Now what we have to do? We have to subtract minus 20% from this value. What is the value of 20% of 150? What is the value of 20% of 150? I can write 20% as 1 by 5. If 5 is denoting 150, that means it is on the multiple of 30. That means 1 is on the multiple of 30. That means the value of 1 is 30. That means there is a decrease of 30. That means it will become 120, and there's a difference of 20 over 100 into 100, and we will get the percentage. We get the 20% as our answer, and we will get 20% as our answer. Clear? Yes, 30 is the correct answer. Okay, next. If the price of an item be raised by 20%, then how much percent a householder reduce his consumption for the same commodity so that his expenditure do not increase? What we have to do? We have to create same, or we can say we have to maintain the constant expenditure. Expenditure is nothing but price into consumption. And we have to maintain it as constant. We have to maintain it as constant. 16.67%. Okay, anyone else? Okay. If this is increased, then we have to decrease the consumption so that we can create a constant value over here, right? So there is a increase in price, that is by 20%. So I can write 20% as 1 by 5. That means this is our numerator and this is our denominator. So we have to decrease the consumption. If I have to decrease the consumption, that means I can use the formula n upon d plus n. 1 upon 5 plus 1, that means 1 by 6. That means there is a decrease of 1 by 6 in the consumption just to maintain the expenditure. And 1 by 6 is written as 16. 2 by 3, or I can say 16.66% in percentage. So the correct answer of this question is 16.67, or you can say the 16.66 or 2 by 3% as our correct answer. Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay. Now let's move to the next question. If the price of petrol falls down by 20%, by how much percent must a person increase his consumption so as not to decrease the expenditure on this item? Again, the expenditure is nothing but expenditure is price into consumption. And again, we have to maintain this expenditure. expenditure remains constant, 25%. Let's see. Here, the price of petrol is decreased. That means we have to increase the consumption. And we can write 20% as 1 by 5. And if we have to increase the consumption, so that we can use a formula n upon d minus n, and this is our n and this is our d. That means just we can simply put the values 1 by 4, and we can write 1 by 4 as 25% in percentage. So the correct answer of this question is nothing but 25%. If we have to increase the consumption, then we use subtraction in denominator. If we have to decrease the consumption, then we have to use addition in the denominator. Clear? Okay. Next question, question number 10th. Due to 50% increase in the price of rice, a family purchased 5 kg less rice with the same amount of rupees 60. What is the new price of the rice? And here we have our options. We have to calculate the new price of rice. What we have to do? We have to calculate the new price of rice. How do we calculate the new price of the rice? Okay. I can write 50% as 1 by 2. That means there is an increase in what? There is an increase in price. Price of rice. That means the quantity of rice is decreased. 5. Okay, Abhishek, let's see. If the price is increased, that means the quantity of rice is decreased. Quantity of rice is decreased. If we have to calculate the decrease value, that means we can use the formula n upon d plus n. That means there is a decrease of 1 by 3 in the quantity of rice. Okay. If the 1 by 3 part of the quantity of the rice is decreased, and that particular thing, we purchase 5 kg less rice. That means this 1 by 3 is equal to 5 kg. Because this quantity is reduced. So if we calculate the whole value, that means it will become 15 kg rice. Initially, we are purchasing, before rising the amount, we are purchasing 15 kg rice in 60 rupees. We are purchasing 15 kg rice in 60 rupees. That means if we have to calculate the initial price, that is equal to 60 by 15, that is 4 rupees per kg. But now we are getting 5 kg less rice. That means we are getting only 10 kg rice. Now we are getting only 10 kg rice in 60 rupees. 5 kg less. That means the new price is nothing but 60 upon 10. That means 6 rupees per kg. The correct answer of this question is option number D. The new price of rice is 6 rupees per kg. 6 rupees per kg. We calculate the we calculate the decrease in quantity of rice, and which is quite given in the question, that we purchased 5 kg less rice in the same amount. So the value of 1/3 is 5 kg. So we calculate the whole value. If the whole value is 15 kg, that means we are purchasing 15 kg of rice in 60 rupees earlier, but now we are getting 5 kg less rice in the same amount. So we just calculated the new price of rice. Is it clear how do we calculated the new price? Is it clear? The correct answer of question number 10 is option number D. Is it clear? Please let me know in the comment section. Okay. Now let's move to the next question, question 11. The length of a plot is decreased by 33.33%. By how much percent the breadth of the plot will be increased so that the area remains constant? So the area remains constant. I can write 33.33% as 1/3, right? What is the area of plot? Area of plot is nothing but length into breadth. If we have to maintain this area of plot as constant, and the length of the plot is decreased, then we have to increase the breadth of the plot. Okay, 50%. Let's see. This is my N and this is my D, right? If I have to maintain the area of plot as constant, what I have to do? I have to create breadth as increase. That means we have to do D minus N 1/3 minus 1, that means 1/2. Yes, the correct answer is 50%. The correct answer is 50%. I have to increase my breadth by 50% just to maintain the area of plot as constant or same. Clear? Next. Due to fall in manpower, the production in the factory decreased by 60%. By what percent should the working hours be increased to restore the original production in the factory? We know manpower into working hours is equal to the total production. Now what you have to do, you have to maintain the production, and here there is a decrease in manpower, then we have to increase the working hours. So by how much percent we have to increase the working hours? Then by how much percent we have to increase the working hours? .67. Okay, let's see. There's a decrease of 60%. There's a decrease of 60%. So I can write my 60% as 3 by 5 in the fraction, right? I can write 3 by 5 as my 60% in as 3 by 5 in the fraction. That means I can use a formula n by d, and we have to increase in the working hours. If we have to increase in the working hours, that means I have to use n upon d minus n, right? So here 3, 5 minus 3, that means 3 by 2. That means total 150%. There's an increase of total 150%, not 66.67%. There's an increase of 150% in the working hours. There's an increase of 150% in the working hours. Abhishek, please do check your answer. There's an increase of 150%. Clear? Okay. Now let's move to the next question. Two numbers are respectively 25 and 40% less than a third number. What percent is the second number of the first? We have to calculate the percent is the second of the first. Here we have three numbers: first, second, and the third. As there is a comparison of two numbers is given with the help of third number, that means I can take the third number as 100, and there's a difference of 25%. That means first number is 25% less than of third number. That means my first number is 75 and the second number is 60. Right, now what we have to do, we have to calculate what percent is the second of the first. Second of the first, that means second of the first. We have to calculate this one. So what is the correct answer? 80%, 20%. Okay. Okay, let's see. 80% is the correct answer. 80% is the correct answer. The second number is 80%, that of first number. That is of first number. Yes, Sandipan, this is for all branches. General aptitude is common for all. Okay, here we have our next question. If the annual increase in the population be 20% and the present population be 10,000, what will be the population after 3 years hence? We have to calculate the population after 3 years. And there's an increase of 20% in each year. There's an increment of 20% in every year. I can write 20% as 1 by 5, right? If I am having 5 as my answer and it is increased by 20%, that means it will become, the new number will become 6, 5 plus 1. So for the first year, if I write it as old and new one, or I can also write it as old upon new. So for the first year, initially I am having 5 and it will become 6 after the increment of 20%. In the second year, again it is 5 and it is increased by 20%, and it will become 6. For the third year as well, it was 5 and it will become 6. That means I simply multiply all these terms and I'll get 125 and 216 here. But it is given that the present population, that means the old population of the town or of the population, is nothing but that is equal to 10,000. That means it is on the multiple of 80. So we have to multiply it with 80. So the correct answer 08. So the correct answer over here is option number B, 17280. And I can write it as 5 by 6 for the first year, 5 by 6 for the second year, and 5 by 6 for the third year, and I'll get my answer as 125 upon 216. This is the population of, this is the present population, and this is the population after 3 years. And this value is given as 10,000, and we have to calculate this value, and we get our answer as option number B, 17,280. 17,280 as our correct answer. Okay, next question, which is quite similar to this one. The population of a town in the first year is increased by 10%. In the next year, it decreased by 10%. Once again, in the third year, it increased by 10%. And in the fourth year, it is decreased by 10%. If the present population be 20,000, then the population after 4 years will be, we have to calculate the population after 4 years. What is the correct answer? What is the correct answer of question number 15? Okay. Initially, it is given that there's an increment of 10%. There's an increment of 10%, then there's a decrement, then again increment, and then again decrement. 10%, that means I can write it as 1 by 10. If I write the ratio like old upon new, that means for the very first year, there's an increase. That means if the old value stands, in the new value, it will become 11. For the next thing, it is decreased by 10%. If the old value is 9, the new value will become 9. If the old value is 10, it will become 11. And if the old value is 9, on the decrement of 10%, it will become 9. And it is given that this value is equal to what? This value is equal to 20,000, and here I'm getting 121 into 81. It is on the multiple of 2, so we have to multiply with 2, and I'll get my answer. If I do the unit place thing, I'll get my answer as 19602. 19602. That means option number B is the correct answer. Option number B is the correct answer. Clear? Now let's move to the next question. the population of a town is increased by 16.2 by 3% in first year, and in next year population is decreased by 37.1 by 2%, and in third year it again increased by 57.1 by 7%. The population after 3 years become 1,65,000. Find the present population of the town. Now this time we have to calculate the present population, not the population after few years. Here we have to calculate the present population of the town. How do we calculate the present population of the town? I can write 16.2 by 3% as 1 by 6 in the fraction, 37.1 by 2% as 3 by 8 in the fraction, and 57.1 by 7% as 4 by 7 in the fraction. Now initially we have the increment, then decrement, and then again there's an increment. If I'm writing like old upon new, so I can write it as, if the previous population is 6, then it will become 7. If initially it is 8, it will become 5 because there is a decrement of 3 from the 8. And lastly we have 7 and it will become 11. 7 plus 4. So the 7 is eliminated and I am getting 48 upon 55. And it is given that the population will become 1,65,000. That means the value of 55 is not 55, it is 1,65,000. That means it is on the multiple of 3,000. It is on the multiple of 3,000. So what we have to do, we have to multiply it with 3,000 and we will get our answer as 1,44,000. And I'll get my answer as 1,44,000 is the correct answer. Is it clear? Here we have to calculate the present population, not the population after few years. Clear? We have to calculate the old value, or I can say the present value. Is it clear? Now let's move to the next question. The price of petrol is increased by 16.2 by 3%, so that the consumption is decreased by 42.6 by 7%. Find out the effect on expenditure. Here we have to find out the effect, not the percentage change. Here we have to find out just simply the effect on expenditure, not the percentage change. So what is the effect on expenditure after the increment or decrement in such values? Expenditure is nothing but price into consumption, and there's an increase in price and there's a decrease in consumption. So we have to calculate the effect on expenditure. I can write 16 2/3% as 1/6 in fraction, and I can write 42 6/7% as 3/7 in the fraction. Price is increased. That means if the previous, or I can say the old price, if the old price is 6 rupees, then it will become 7. And if the consumption was 7, it is decreased by 3. That means it will become 4. And what we have to do, we have to calculate the effect, not the percentage change. So what I'm getting, 3/2. There's a difference of what? There's a difference of 1. On, we have to calculate the effect by the previous value. That means there is an effect of 1 upon 3 into 100. So there's an effect of 33.33, or we can say 33 1/3%. There's an effect of 33 1/3%. That means the correct answer over here is option number C. That means the correct answer over here is option number C. Is it clear? Here we have to calculate the effect on expenditure after the increment or decrement in the respective values. Is it clear? Okay. Now let's move to the next question, question number 18th. 40% of a number when added to the square of the same number, then it is increased to 4040% of itself. The original number is, what we have to do, we have to calculate the original number after performing these such operations. How do we calculate this? Yes, AB. Okay, let's suppose I am having that number as x. So what is given, that if the 40% of that number, that means I can write it as 40% of x when added to the square of the same number. So the square is x square. Then it is increased to 4040. That means x into 4040%. Just to remove the percent symbol, I can write it by divided by 100. What we have to do, we have to simply calculate this equation and we will get the value of x. So I can eliminate x over here, right? So I can write 40 plus 100x is equals to 4040. If I transfer this 40 over this side, what I am having, 100x is equals to 4000. And what we have to do, we have to calculate the value of x, and the value of x is nothing but 40. So the correct answer of this question is option number C. So the correct answer of this question is option number C. Is it clear? Is it clear? This is a very simple question where we have to do as the things given in the questions. Is it clear? Okay. Now let's move to the next question. The square of a positive number is 2000% greater than the number itself. Then the square of that number is. Now what we have to do, we have to calculate the square of that particular number. How do we calculate this? The square of a positive number is 2000% greater than the number itself. Then the square of that number is. How do I calculate that? How do I calculate the square of that particular number? Okay, let's suppose I am having x as my number, and it is given that the square of positive number, that means the square is x into x, or I can write x square. Let's see, Abhishek. And it will become 2000% greater than, that means x plus x into 2000%. What I have to do, I have to simply solve this equation and I'll get my answer. I have to take x as common, or I can simply eliminate it. X square is equals to x plus 20x. That means x square equals to 21x. And I can simply eliminate x from here and here, and I'll get my value of x is 21. But what we have to do, we have to calculate the square of this number. So the square of 21 is nothing but 441. So the correct option over here is option number C. So the correct option over here is option number C. Okay, now let's move to the last question of today's session, and that is 80% of a smaller number is 4 less than 40% of a larger number. The larger number is 85 greater than the smaller one. The sum of these two numbers is, what I have to do, I have to calculate the sum of the smaller and the larger number. Aman, you can follow R.S. Agarwal. Or you can simply follow the sessions. Okay, what is the sum of these two numbers? Aman, you can follow R.S. Agarwal. Okay, here I am having two numbers. Let's suppose x is my smaller number and y is my larger number. And it is given that 80% of smaller numbers, that means 80% of smaller number is 4 less than 40% of larger number. It is given that. Clear? So just to remove 100 from the denominator, we can write it as 80x equals to 40 80y minus 400, and I can eliminate this 0, 0, 0, and I can write it as 8x equals to 4y minus 40, and or I can write it as 2x equals to y minus 10. Y minus 10. This is my equation number 1. And it is also given that the larger number is 85 greater than the smaller one. That means the larger number is 85 greater than the smaller number. This is my equation number 2. I simply put this value over here just to calculate the value of x. 2x equals to 85 plus x minus 10. So here I get the value of x as 75, and when I put the value of 75 in this equation, I'll get the value of y as 160. Now what we have to do, we have to add both these values just to calculate the sum. So the sum is 235. So the correct option of this question is option number C. So the correct answer of this question is option number C. Is it clear? Okay, so let's end this session here only. We will learn some more concepts or more type of questions in the next session, which is on tomorrow at 7 p.m. on the same timing. Till then, keep smiling, stay safe, bye bye. Thank you so much for watching this video, and good night.